Mark, welcome to another episode of Technically Speaking. What do you have for us today?
Hey, we're going to talk about IT operations. Dude, it doesn't get much better than that, right? The height of excitement, but here's the thing. A lot of development going on in IT operations. Ned, you work with IT operations every single day with infrastructure and the operations that go on top of that. So we're going to explore not just how we got to where we are today, but where things are going in the future to make IT operations invisible and some of the challenges going there. But Ned, because you have scar tissue, you've got calluses on your typing fingers. Tell us a little bit, how did we get to where we are today with IT operations?
Well, Mark, I'm glad you asked. I think that, first of all, it's a fantastically interesting space because, our customers need to run application payloads to run their business. And so they've had challenges throughout the whole evolution of IT to try to figure out how to make it all make sense. And so I think one way to frame where we're going and understand where we're going is to think a little bit about where we came from. At the dawn of time, Mark, we thought about application payloads and supporting them with the model of a data center. But we thought about it in terms of a data center because that's where things live. And inside of them, they had three basic elements, which were effectively the networking components, the storage components, and the compute components. And we had to aggregate those together into some kind of something in order to get applications to work properly. And so it turned out that was so complex that we had to build all of these different operational frameworks that had really tasty acronyms like ITSM and ITOM and things like that. And we had to have people who were expert in aggregating these combinations of elements using these frameworks to try to get some kind of predictable outcome. And there was even, it sounds like a drug, but Six Sigma to help us to try to predict quality so that we could then have results that would have an anticipated efficacy and cost payload for our organization. And so a catalyst for starting to see things change was the initial adoption of what we call cloud resources. So the cloud was effectively a data center that wasn't inside of your data center. So it had all the elements of networking and storage and compute, and you just consumed it in a different way, really. But now we'd gone from, all of this work that had been done to aggregate things into one framework to effectively having two. And so that was okay for some workloads, but not really good for a long-term strategy. And so
these kind of ran like in two separate silos. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Silos is exactly how I think about it. They were like stovepipes where they were just different. But really, what you're saying is that your cloud strategy was stitching those assets together, regardless of who operated them and where they lived, into one framework. And we started seeing really cool things that are very buzzword worthy, Mark, like AI ops starting to become effective within all of that. But the AI ops and those approaches were really intended to give us similar efficacy to what we had been building towards throughout the whole evolution of data centers. It's some way to predict performance and cost and uptime and all the other things that we have to predict and understand so that we can run the applications that drive our business.